also had another legend of a giant predatory eagle that was around the same time as the Moas, and it was this. This was no ordinary eagle. In fact, it was called Harpagornis, or the Hast's eagle, and of course it was the biggest eagle that's ever lived. I mean, it had powerful eyesight, a beak the size of a butcher's cleaver, razor-sharp talons as big as the claws of a tiger, and it had an enormous wingspan, and it was bigger than even a harpy eagle or the Steller's sea eagle, which are both the largest birds, the largest eagles. And we know that Harpagornis preyed on moas because Moa skeletons have been found with holes stabbed through their pelvic bones that exactly match the grip of the eagle's claws. But only about 800 years ago, when the Maori people arrived in New Zealand, they cut down much of the forests the Moas lived in, but also they might have hunted the Moas for food and also out of fear. And because Harpagornis was so reliant on the Moas as its main food source, when the Moas disappeared, Harpagornis followed. But the final animal is one that went extinct only about 90 years ago, and it's called the thylacine, or Tasmanian wolf. It was a marsupial, which is an animal that grows its young in a pouch on the mother's belly, and it lived in Australia, where it was one of the largest predators there. But unfortunately, just over 200 years ago, when European settlers arrived in Australia with livestock, guns, dogs, cats, badgers, foxes, weasels and rats, they decimated much of Australia's unique wildlife, including the Tasmanian wolf, which was systematically hunted to extinction by humans. And in fact, the last known animal died in a zoo in Tasmania in 1936, which marked a new low in our relationship with the natural world. Now, I'm going to show you all a size comparison between the elephant bird egg and modern day bird eggs. As you can see, this is an elephant bird egg, and here, but this and this are ostrich eggs. Now, the ostrich egg is the largest egg that's laid today. This is the smallest bird egg ever laid, and that is from a hummingbird. And this is, of course, a chicken egg. So, as you can see, the elephant bird egg dwarfs all three of those. And now, the next thing I'm going to show you is 3 skeletons of the extinct birds I talked about. The first is the elephant bird, and that's from the documentary Attenborough and the Giant Egg. As you can see, there's David Attenborough, and of course the elephant bird was enormous. And this here is the first Moa skeleton put together by Professor Richard Owen, who was the curator of the Natural History Museum in the 1830s. And this here is a Dodo skeleton, one of the very few that remain. As you can see, they are extinct, but as you can see, they still do fascinate me to this day. Because here's why we need to learn from our mistakes with the past and preserve the natural world we have today. We need to learn from our mistakes with the natural world in the past now, because we've been devastating the planet's ecosystems for the last century and a half. We are pushing animals that have been around on this planet for millions of years to extinction, and we need to do something about it now. The oceans of our planet are in danger, mainly because millions of sharks are slaughtered every year because of the demand for shark fin soup. And these are apex predators of the oceans, and they keep everything in balance, like tiger sharks to keep the populations of sea turtles in check, to make sure they don't overgraze on seagrass that are important to things like small fish and seahorses, but also to preventing climate change. But also with the oceanic whitetip, which was once one of probably the most widespread predator on Earth. That's been lost in more than 75% of its range. So if sharks are wiped out, then the effects on the ocean ecosystems could be catastrophic. Vultures are important for the ecosystems of both Africa and Asia because they consume the rotting carcasses and prevent the spread of diseases such as Ebola, botulism and tuberculosis. If they are completely wiped out, the carcasses are just going to build up everywhere in the bush and spread diseases which won't just affect the wildlife but also affect humans. Primates such as chimps, gorillas and orangutans are important not only to the ecosystems they live in, but also they're important to us because we are in the same group as them, the primates. I mean, we may walk upright, talk and wear clothes, but they are some of our closest relatives and the wonders of evolution that, well, they show us the wonders of evolution that Charles Darwin came up with. But also they help keep the forests they rely on in balance and maintain the plants and growth of the forests with the help of things like forest elephants. So if we don't do something now, then everything will completely fall apart. I've been working with and studying wildlife for a good part of my life, and it takes a lot to shock me and make me sick to my stomach, but if we don't do something now, then everything we know in the natural world will collapse, and to me that will be a new low in our relationship with the natural world, so we need to do something about it right now, more than ever, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get through to you all about why we need to protect the natural world. And I don't have all the answers, but if you really do care about the planet and want to do something, then please listen to what I have said and just please do something about it before it's too late. Thank you.